So let me just be the first one to say it. I may not be the first one to say it, but let me just say it, at least on this channel. I am 100% bought in on the Jaden Ivey, Cade Cunningham pairing. I want to dive into that in this video, but before I do, let me go pay these bills real quick. This video is brought to you by Bridges and Stone's Family and Relationship Care. Look, I can look back in my life and see a lot of times when I needed support and never reached out for it. I recognize how much I normalized struggling on my own when I didn't have to. If I was an athlete dealing with an injury, I would have looked out for a trainer or even a doctor. If I was struggling with something on the team, I would have talked to an assistant coach. Well, Bridges and Stones is a place to find a well-trained, supportive coach for your life. Don't struggle alone. Contact Bridges and Stones today for a free consultation and get your life back where you want it. Remember, none of us make it alone. The link is in the description box below. You know, something that I want to start off with saying is trust the process. Now, not the whole Philly thing, losing on purpose, but trust the process of what it actually looks like to develop a winning team. It doesn't really differ no matter where you go. It doesn't matter what organization you are a part of, what your favorite team is, your favorite players are. It's the same process. There is a learning curve. There is a time period of really just fucking up, like over and over. And to an extent, we've seen a whole lot of fucking up from this team over the past few years. It's been rough. The Killian Hayes years, the injuries, the bad coaches, right? The organization that was struggling, the ownership that just couldn't get out of the way. And yet we find ourselves as Detroit Pistons followers and fans. You have two all-star level players, two potentially one day all NBA level players. That's the type of talent that we are looking at. Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham look every bit what they were advertised to be. Yes, Cade Cunningham went number 1 in his draft. But let's also remember that Jalen Green and Evan Mobley, Scotty Barnes, right? These other guys, Franz Wagner and Jonathan Kuminga and Jalen Suggs, right? That was a deep draft. A lot of other guys could have been shuffled into that position. But Cade Cunningham was the guy for this team, and he is an awesome talent. People also forget sometimes that Jaden Ivey was also in the discussion for potentially the number 1 pick in his draft with Paolo Banchero, Chet Holmgren. Jaden Ivey was number 3 for a reason. He was right there. He was right there because he was that talented. He was that talented. Now he dropped to the Pistons. Yo, we are ecstatic to have him because there were times in this past game against the Philadelphia 76ers that he looked like the best player on the court. He looked like the most dynamic player on the court. He looked like the player with the most talent to impose his will on the game. And that was a game that included all-NBA performer, all-star Tyrese Maxey. In fact, he looked like a 6'5" version of the 6'2" Tyrese Maxey, with way more vertical and much bigger. And as a point of attack defender, someone who is bought in and accepting that role, that is absolutely terrifying. It should be for anyone, for any team. The fact that Jaden Ivey is bought into being a two-way player completely transforms this team. He almost becomes, I'm not going to say the most important player, but his contribution on the defensive end gives him a level of impact that even Cade Cunningham hasn't touched yet. Right now, Cade Cunningham is still a defensive liability. Now, both of them turn the ball over. But to be able to impact the game dynamically on the defensive end, if you watch these games, these first 4 games, when Jaden Ivey is guarding the ball, that guy does not attack the rim. And when they do so unsuccessfully. Jaden Ivey moves his feet. He stays straight up. He doesn't get caught in reaching in and picking up bad fouls. He walls them up, bodies them up because he's much bigger. And I talked about this in the previous video, what he needed to do to be successful, why you shouldn't bet against him because he has the right mentality to do it. And he's doing it. He looks phenomenal, if I'm honest. And with all the turnovers between both of them, both of them look like they pack the type of firepower that only the elite duos in the NBA have. The LeBrons and ADs. Now, they impact the game differently. I'm not putting them on their level yet. But the Kyrie and Lucas, all right, soon to be Julius Randle and Anthony Edwards, right? These duos out there where they have the ability to carry your offense through stretches. And with the added shooting around them, and Tim Hardaway Jr. and Malik Beasley and Simone Fontecchio and even Tobias Harris, all of a sudden now you have big-time offensive punch. And it was something that you can tell against the Miami Heat. I wanted to wait a little bit before doing this video because I wanted to see how things played out in the following game after the Heat game. And if I'm honest with you, very early on, I said to myself, it just came to me that they were going to beat Philly. Now, I know some people might say that they just knew, but you have to understand the Miami Heat offer a very unique brand of defense. They switch different types of presentations in terms of traps and double teams and full court presses and switching versus fighting through. They hedge hard. They recover. I mean, they offer a level of physicality, versatility. I mean, they are going to put you through the gauntlet. And when you're a young player, it's one of those experiences that once you see the Miami Heat defense, whatever defense you see after that kind of looks just average because nobody else plays that hard on defense. Maybe sans the Boston Celtics. But it's to say that I figured they were going to learn some lessons. And this is where I think fans have to really embed themselves in, is that this team is in a process of learning lessons. And they've been learning lessons. And as they continue to learn the lessons, they're going to have the ability to take these leaps and jumps that we're all hoping that they make. For me right now, I'm fully bought in. Look, JB Bickerstaff, if nothing else changes, I don't care how many games. I mean, I do care how many games they win. They should, even if Asar Thompson is out for the season, let's knock on wood, God willing, inshallah, he's able to come back and he's able to play at a high level. But if not, this team is still 25-win team, at least. With him, I think they get up to 30, 35 wins. And for what I'm seeing from Ivy and Cade Cunningham, Asar Thompson is the perfect fit. He is the perfect fit. Between them with Tobias Harris and Jalen Duren, I talk about them ad nausea constantly about how high I am on Asar Thompson. And many other front office execs have said the same thing. So it's not just me. All that's to say is this team is ready to start winning now. Look, Dennis Jenkins looked good in Summer League. Bobby Clinton looked good in Summer League. Cole Swider, okay, he's cool. Wendell Moore, yeah. Marcus Sasser, you know that's my boy. Even Jalen Duren. Malik Beasley, Simone Fontecchio, Paul Reed. Maybe even Isaiah Stewart. Tim Hardaway Jr. for sure. All these guys don't mean anything in comparison to what Jaden Ivey, Cade Cunningham, Asar Thompson, and Ron Holland all are bringing to the game right now. This team, that core, has the potential to take this team to an NBA championship. I'm not saying right now, but I'm saying what I'm recognizing in terms of that ability, that star power, that magnetism, that gravity that Cade and Ivy have the ability to have. And you're slowly but surely they're just scratching the surface of Cade and Ivy learning to play together. The chemistry is forming. I don't know if you can see it. I'd say more so in the last game or two. A little bit in the Miami Heat game, but I would say a little bit more in this Philly game. You begin to see them playing off of each other, to use each other's gravity to their advantage, to look for each other when they're creating for themselves and others and playmaking and facilitating. They're beginning to work together more. They already have each other's back. You can see that they encourage each other. They slap each other on the behind, say good job, and it looks genuine that they really mess with each other. That's going to be scary for the league. Because it's one thing doubling up Cade Cunningham. It's another thing to have to leave Jaden Ivey to do so. Because Jaden Ivey is going to get right to that rim and dunk on you the moment you leave him and he gets that ball. And when Cade Cunningham begins to time and get his rhythm down to anticipate these double teams, watch out. But what I'm also seeing is something else that we have to keep in mind, that Jaden Ivey might be looking like he is a guaranteed max salary extension player, which means the Detroit Pistons will be carrying, going into the next couple years, 2 max salaries with Cade and Ivey. Now, it will work out to their benefit if Ivey does not make an all-star team before they extend him, which would be wise. They should. I know we're 4 games in, but trust me now, y'all can call back to it. This is going to age well. They'll probably give him a max extension right off the bat. And what this will do is, because he hasn't made an all-star game, he won't have the same. He won't demand the same percentage of the salary cap in his extension, which will allow this team to save money to potentially give to Asar Thompson, because Jalen Duren's progress, it's slow enough that it could work in the favor of the Detroit Pistons, that you can potentially extend him as well and keep him at around 20 mil a year, maybe even 18 to 22. I can't see going above 24. That still allows you to have this core group for an extended period of time under manageable contracts. And over the course of the next 4 to 5 years, those contracts are going to be amazing contracts throughout the league because of the trajectory that I see these guys going. Now, with that said, I would like to see a couple trades. Look, I'm just going to throw this out there because it's fun talking about trades. It just is. I want to see them trade Tim Hardaway Jr. for Dorian Finney-Smith. I think off top, that's one of the first things I want to see. And the reason why, I love Tim Hardaway Jr.'s shooting, and it has made a huge impact. However, his defensive liability-ness is just glaring. Look, a 6'4", 6'5" shooting guard should not be guarding the best perimeter wing scorer. Not in the Eastern Conference, not in this NBA. And it becomes glaring. Look, he gives great effort. I've appreciated it. But if you saw this last game, he was just lost and he was out of it. And you can see that intense effort maybe was more so because he was struggling with his jump shot and he was trying to buy into what JB Bickerstaff is asking. But he generally, these veterans come back down to their own average, which is a below average defender for Tim Hardaway Jr. He's likely going to trend back in that direction, which makes him that much more of a liability. And the moment he's not knocking down shots, he becomes a huge liability. I want to see Dorian Finney-Smith in there because I think what he can bring to this team in terms of being able to knock down shots, maybe not the same volume, but his ability to get out in transition, straight line drive, but most importantly, defend at a high level. I think that is going to be transformative for this defense and is going to allow them to pull away more because, like I told y'all, and I told y'all this, that Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey would improve their three-point shooting drastically. And as a result, they were going to be able to improve the overall three-point shooting and offensive efficiency of this team, that they were not lacking shooting. They just lacked quality of shots. And now that JB Bickerstaff has the offense humming, they are getting great quality of shots and they are knocking them down. This team has a great outlook. The other guy I want them to go after is Jabari Walker from the Portland Trail Blazers. If you're not knowing about him, check him out. Imagine something between Beef Stew and Tobias Harris. He's right in there, right? He's going to be a free agent, very affordable contract. He's only got like a $2 million deal. Look, you can trade Wendell Moore Jr. for him, 6'9", physical forward. And what this does is it solidifies your front court. You have all the reinforcement you need there, the rebounding, the toughness, the physicality, the screening, the rolling. And he also brings a lot of skill, and it also allows you to shift Marcus Sasser back into this lineup. It allows you to not have to utilize shooting guards to play small forward positions. All that's to say is there's moves to be made. The roster is officially legit. I'm bought in. I'm here for it. And I'm going to leave it at that. Look, if you enjoyed the video, smash the like button for me. If you agree, disagree, let me know in the comments section. Share the video with your partners. Get at me in the comments. I'm going to get at y'all there. Like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and I'm going to get at y'all next time. Peace.